Hello, friends, and welcome
Hello.
to the Cinemondo podcast. Kathy and Burke. Mark is, I don't know where Mark is.
He's on vacation. He's sick of us. So I wore my dragon shirt for this.
Oh, Baby Yoda dragon.
No, it's a dragon.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
dragon. I know it's got to be. What
I,
else could it be?
I see it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I also have I have this little dragon.
Oh.
Ooh, Game of Thrones.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
so I brought all of these dragon things with me.
I should have brought my Hand of the King thing.
Ah, yeah,
Yeah.
I have that too. Okay,
Oh.
because we loved Game of Thrones for a while there, and the last season, of course, as sometimes happens with series, it kind of gets ruined. Um,
I'm one of
didn't
the
love
people
the
that
last
didn't
season.
didn't hate the ending of it. I thought
I
it
hated it.
ended the way it ended, and I was like, but yeah, it wasn't what it was. One of those things like not quite as bad as Lost, the way
No,
that
not nearly
Lost
as bad.
ended,
Lost was one of the worst. Yeah,
but it was
for
one of
sure.
those things where I felt like I had an idea of how it was going to end, and it didn't end as cool as my idea.
Mm,
You know what I mean? And I know that
exactly.
sounds, I know how that sounds, but I just felt like the way imagined it ending would have been this huge epic thing that would have
Yeah,
brought it all full circle and all that kind of
in an
stuff.
unexpected way. Like I wanted it to
Yeah.
defy my expectations, and it did not. But it was incredibly well produced and incredibly great for a long time.
And some of the episodes I still think are some of the most incredible things I've seen on television.
So
There's
good.
a few episodes that were just, I go back and watch those episodes once in a while and like, God, this show is so well
Yes.
made. The performances, the characters that you get to know over the course of this long series, and how long we used to have to wait between seasons.
And the
And
actors were so great. And
yeah,
I love, Peter Dinklage. Oh my God, so good.
and the
Um,
character arcs, the way Daenerys goes through a lot of changes.
mhm.
Some of them you don't want to see, but
Yeah, it didn't make sense to me what happened to
yeah,
her. It was
it
stupid.
it
That
was
that was
kind
a big
of
lame one for the whole series. Yeah. Anyway, this isn't a forensic analysis of the the end of Game of Thrones. This is about a new beginning.
yes,
This is about a prequel,
yeah,
and we brought up Daenerys especially because this is about the Targaryens. So it's
right.
about how they, how what their history is. It's a prequel to Game of Thrones.
And it's the stuff that you used to hear referenced on Game of Thrones, where they
Yep.
would talk about the Mad King and all these other things that
Yep.
happened in the past and what led to the events of Game of Thrones. So now I guess we're going to go back in time and see some of this stuff. Which I mean, again, I always have trouble with prequels
Yeah.
because you know who's not gonna die and you know who's not gonna survive. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
who's like if this person isn't in the story, they're probably gonna die. If this person is in Game of Thrones and is also in the prequel, you know that they're safe.
But some of it's old enough history
If that
that
makes sense.
they probably wouldn't be alive anyway. So, and some of it we aren't totally sure how they came to power, or and because part of what was great about Game of Thrones is the ins and outs and the intimate, like, dealings and backstabbing that was happening. It wasn't the big spectacle all the time. It was this cool sort of game of chess everybody was playing, and
Yeah.
that's sort of the fun part, is how did they keep the power? How did they lose the power? Even though we know that people may have lost power, or how they might have died ultimately, we
Right.
don't know how they came to that.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be really pretty
And
cool.
I'm not even sure when this takes place. You just said this might be even before anybody's alive from Game of
Yeah.
Thrones. This might be the previous generations or something. This shows how little I know about this.
I know. I'm trying not to. Part of me, I don't want to know too much, because I'm afraid
Right.
if I know too much, or I don't like the showrunner, or if there's, and I'm sort of a little dicey on the wigs I was seeing in the trailers
Yeah.
anyway. So I was kind of like, oh, I don't know. So I'm trying not to, because I want to keep an open mind.
Yeah.
But the trailers have been pretty minimal, but I hear this one has a lot more, and dragons.
It's got
Plus
dragon.
dragons. It's House of
Yes.
Dragons. Like, they bring the dragons. I want to see more of this.
Yeah.
Baby dragons. I want to see
Yeah.
that. All right, so we ready to watch this trailer?
Shall we watch it?
Let's do it.
Got it loaded up?
It's ready.
All right.
Rock and
And in
roll.
3, 2, 1, action.
He's afoot.
See dragon.
That's what we want.
Yep. Now,
The dream was clearer than a memory. heard the sound of thundering hooves, splintering shields and ringing swords. And I placed my heir upon the Iron Throne. And all the dragons roared as one.
I consider the matter urgent. That of your succession.
Who else would have a claim?
The firstborn child.
Rhaenyra. No queen has ever sat the Iron Throne.
The king has an heir, Daemon Targaryen.
I will not be made to choose between my brother and my daughter.
Rhaenyra's succession will be challenged. Knives will come out.
You are the king. Your duty is to take a new wife.
I have decided to name a new heir. I'm your heir. War is afoot.
Do you think the Ram will ever accept me as their queen?
A woman would not inherit the Iron Throne, because that is the order of things.
When I'm queen, I will create a new order.
Your family has dragons. They are a power men should never have trifled with.
If Rhaenyra comes into power,
She could cut off any challenge to her succession.
I am to inherit the Iron Throne. She will block my way.
Our hearts remain as one.
Oh, our hearts were never one. Have you never imagined yourself on the Iron Throne? Where is duty? Where is sacrifice? Now they see you as you are.
All right. So they spent some money on those dragons.
Yeah.
They didn't hold back. And you know
Yeah,
what I
and-
love about it? They didn't hold back because they know we already know what the dragons look like. They don't have
Yeah.
to keep them a secret. So
Yeah.
they said, fuck it, let's show it.
And you're going to see dragon action. It looks like there's like, you know, the whole, the legend of the dragons that you heard about in the first series, like when, you know, they ruled Westeros because they had the dragons, you know.
That's right. And
now
you
get
have to wonder
see it.
too, if you had dragons, how did they ever lose? I mean, I guess that's maybe that's part of what this is about. Like, and I hated part of what I hate about House, whatever that previous series was.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones.
Throne
is-
of Gones, whatever. Yeah.
House of Thrones.
Yeah.
The thing I hated about was seeing all the dragons get killed. I just
Yeah.
no, just don't kill dragons. It's just
Yeah.
bullshit. I don't want to see that. I'm not interested in that. So the reason they're so powerful is that they're really hard to kill. But in Game of Thrones, they were really hard to kill until they weren't, and then you could just shoot them out of the sky with a spear. It was stupid. Another thing I hated. So anyway,
Yeah.
I'm gonna rant a little. But anyway, so this looks good because it looks like they're gonna really lean on the power of the dragons. It has some great actors in it. We love Matt Smith from Doctor Who. Olivia Cook is great. I loved her in Bates Motel. I loved her in that. I mean, a lot of other great actors. The showrunner did Colony, which was kind of cool, kind of sci-fi. You know, he knows how to stage a big spectacle. So I'm hoping this will be good.
Yeah, it's a tough act to follow kind of a thing for
It
me
is.
because Game of Thrones was new, and I sort of had to be convinced to watch it because I'm not really into that whole sword and sorcery kind of thing.
Yep,
I
same.
like Lord of the Rings. I liked the first those Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings movies, but then the more I watched them, the more I kind of felt like they didn't hold up with me after having seen Game of Thrones, because Game of Thrones just had this more of a gritty realism. And it seemed like more was at stake in Game of Thrones. When I think about the Lord of the Rings stuff, it just seems like a little bit more childlike or something. I know they're hobbits and all, but it didn't really have the depth that Game of Thrones did. And this one, I hope, has that depth, that reality depth, which comes from really good character writing.
Right.
and that was one of the things about Game of Thrones that was so good. I mean, you'll never forget Jon Snow. You'll never forget Jon Snow's father and what happened to him. You'll never forget his little sister, Arya. You know, those characters were so full of depth again. You know, you believed them, and the performances were so great from everyone.
Yeah.
You can't forget those characters.
Yeah.
So hopefully
this
this will have those.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. And like, we're a little more familiar with the world, so we can, go into it having that, which they had to do a whole lot of world building and setting up characters for us. But in this one, we have a little bit of a hint of what we're looking for. And this showrunner has a lot more experience in those previous, the Game of Thrones. I keep calling it House of Thrones. I keep conflating
House
the two
of
titles.
Cards, yeah.
House of Cards. Yeah. But it does look like it's going to be kind of fun. And, the palette's a little bit different from Game of Thrones, which was a little more steely and cool most of the time. This looks a little warmer. Dragons is hot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm holding some optimism in check, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those things where they're going to have to sort of prove it to me, I hate to say
they know
that.
it too. I think they know it.
And I think there's a lot of people who kind of lost their faith in Game of Thrones, because Game of Thrones, in my little circle of friends, was a big deal, and
Very big deal.
we all used to get together.
Yep.
The whole Hee Haw gang here would get together and watch Game of Thrones every time it was on, and it was always such an event. When that music came on and those opening
Nobody
credits,
talked.
it was like and Kathy made cupcakes one time that had all the house flags in it. And
I set up the red wedding.
The red wedding
I had
thing,
the red tablecloth with the red everything. That was so fun. And so, hopefully this will be good. I mean, I still cannot believe that Mark has not watched Game of Thrones, and he started and didn't like it. I'm like, you are insane. I'm still not sure about that.
I don't know what it is.
I don't know
with
why
that boy. What's wrong with him?
He's sick.
No,
He's sick in the head.
I think what it is, he is like me when I first, because I was like, I'm not really, I was barely there for the Lord of the Rings movies.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked them when I watched them, but as I didn't really want to see him again and all that kind of stuff. I wasn't into that world, the Dungeons and Dragons-y kind of dragons and orcs and elves and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So I had to really be dragged into Game of Thrones a little bit.
Yeah.
And I feel like maybe that's where Mark is right now, but there's no rabid fan base for him to be, influenced by. He's not suffering from peer pressure to watch it like we were.
And also
back
just
then.
the surrounding hoopla around each episode, like having a week to think about it, like absorb it. Like I would watch the episode with all of us, and then I'd watch it again the next day because I just feel like I just wanted to see it again, just absorb it, And I feel like when you're just burning through seasons, you just don't get that specialness of it. It was the same with Lost when you're watching it week to week and having theories and trying to guess this and that. It's like there's something about that zeitgeist being in the middle of it that matters.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens. This is going to be that again.
One thing I did with Game of Thrones, which I'm glad I did, was my wife is from another country. English is her second language. So a lot of times she likes to watch movies with subtitles to kind of help her, because sometimes people talk really fast and she's kind of keeping up, trying to keep up with the English language. She does pretty good because she usually keeps up with things better than I do. Like I'll say, wait a minute, who's that guy? And she's like, oh, he's the brother of the sister who was the king before the other brother. And I'm like, oh, okay, I guess. But watching the episodes with subtitles actually helps. It helped me get the names, because one of the things about Game of Thrones is you got the Targaryens and the Starks and the Lannisters, and you start getting a little bit mixed up when they bring in other ones and other ones, and then so one of the things about watching Game of Thrones is to either watch it with subtitles. I recommend. Or like downloading a family tree thing from the web. You can find these family trees that'll show, okay, Ned Stark, these are his kids, and if you really kind of follow through on keeping up with the characters, it's pretty amazing There's a lot of stuff to follow in it, which is really
or you
fun.
could do what I did and read the books.
Or read the books. Yeah.
Then you get a lot more information about characters aren't even in the show that help put together a lot of missing pieces. But
Yeah.
well, we have gone on forever about this. But
Okay.
Maybe we're a little more excited than we thought.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna watch it.
Dragons. Let's see
It's
the
got dragons.
All right. Let us know what you guys think of this House of Dragons trailer, and if you're excited, or what are your qualms about? Oh, what are they going to do? Let us know in the comments.
House of Thrones.
House of Thrones.
I mean, Game of Dragons. Game of Cards. No. Okay. We'll figure it out. Thanks for watching, everybody.